Malta, the island nation, of extraordinary historical significance to the world, has been a witness to the infant stages of civilization and to the infant stages of major religions of the world. The land, which hosted the Phoenicians, to Greeks to the British, and who can forget the Knights of St. John, otherwise known as the Knights Hospitaller. The former bastion of Christian knights, fighting the Crusades, has today become a democratic republic, and evolved into a world-renowned tourist destination, hosting more than 1 million tourists every year. But a country, with a past filled with the footprints of scores of regimes and extreme bloodshed, naturally has a dark side to itself. Today, in our new video of Acnite Media, we bring you a spooky tour of Malta's most extraordinary places which have haunting pasts and haunting laws of present attached to them. Number 1. Manoel Theatre, Valletta. Named after a former Grand Master of the Knights Hospitaller, Manoel Theatre, or just known as the Manoel, is the third oldest functioning theatre of Europe. The Manoel is the pride of the Maltese, standing as a theatre which has hosted accomplished artists like Boris Christoph, Maela Freni and many more. But on the other side, Manoel Theatre is known to be one of the most haunted sites of Malta. Reports like fog emerging from one of the seating boxes, floating shadows roaming around and doors slamming on their own have forced even artists to speak out about the supernatural events of this theatrical marvel. Number 2. Splendid Hotel. Located on State Street in the capital city of Valletta, Splendid Hotel once stood in the center of prostitution and crime in Malta back in the 19th century. When a prostitute was reported to have been gruesomely murdered in this hotel, back in the 1960s, the hotel finally closed its doors to the world. But, even today, it seems, the hotel is open to the dead and buried. It's said that the murder victim still roams the Splendid Hotel, occasionally scaring some unwitting explorers. Number 3. The Devil's Farmhouse. Located in Malia, the Devil's Farmhouse is an ancient farmhouse, which stood as a stable for the horses of the knights, when they ruled Malta. But locals say that the farmhouse was built by the devil himself. This ancient farmhouse and stable has been said to echo eerie classical music every evening, when no living soul has occupied that farm since ages. For tourists visiting Malta, this is a must-see since it is a Maltese national monument. Number 4. Villa Sanssouci. A derelict example of 17th century grand architecture, Villa Sanssouci was constructed by a Professor Pisani, who lived and died there. After him, his villa passed on to the Royal Air Force after the 1940s. Today it lies abandoned in a vandalized and broken stage. Yet, people living nearby have repeatedly witnessed strange happenings and heard eerie noises emitting from the villa. Number 5. The Grand Master's Palace. The former official residence of the Grand Master of the Hospitallers, today the Palace of Valletta is the office of the President of Malta. Built from the 16th to the 18th century, the construction of the Grand Master's Palace started just 10 years after the Great Siege of Malta in 1565. Hence, a huge plethora of history, including violent and gruesome battles, is still buried beneath the palace, along with a world-renowned history of paranormal activity in the compound. The most famous story remains of the English lady who lived in the palace during the British rule of Malta. She stood as one of many witnesses to the ghostly activities in that palace, right from hearing ghostly cats and dogs to ghosts manifesting as large cats. This was our video of a virtual spooky tour of the eerie locations of Malta. If you ever have the opportunity to visit this beautiful island country, be sure to visit these places, unless of course, these kinds of stories frighten you. If you liked this video, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel to stay updated to our latest uploads. Stay tuned to Acnite Media.